All right, so this screencast is going to be about gathering evidence because when we're writing an argument essay on the AP exam, question 3 makes us pull evidence from here. The synthesis essay, everything's provided for you. The rhetorical analysis essay, everything's right there for you in that piece that you're examining. But when it comes to argument, you've got to pull it all from here. So let's go through a device that's going to help us remember or help us to organize some evidence that might help us write a strong argument essay. All right. So we're going back to this thesis that we wrote together in the previous video on thesis development. While not all stereotypes are negative, the reality of stereotyping's effects on groups of people, particularly people of color, is that categorizing groups of people negatively affects how they are viewed by the general public. Okay, so although all stereotypes are not negative, most of the time they tend to give us a negative point of view on certain groups of people. So let's go down to this chart here. All right, so in activity 3, we're going to start brainstorming some evidence that might help us strengthen our argument, okay? So what we're going to use the helps me mnemonic or memory tip to help gather evidence. So the H in helps me stands for history, the E, current events, the L, literature and the arts, P, personal experience, the S, science and technology, M, money, so anything economic, and then E, the environment. Now, you do not have to use every kind of evidence to support an argument, but the more you have, the stronger your argument is going to be. So are there things in history that we can think of that that would support how stereotyping has negative effects on people? Well, sure. We can go slavery. We can go into go into the Holocaust, because Hitler put out all kinds of stereotypical information on Jews that basically made everyone okay with putting them in concentration camps. There are so many things here that could do that. Okay, but we're just going to leave it at those two for right now. All right, current events. Are there any that could help us? Absolutely. All right. So we can go into the George Floyd incident. Let's spell his name right. Okay, George Floyd in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Okay. Some could argue that he was stereotypically targeted by police. On the flip side, we could also talk about the stereotyping of police. All police are bad. All police do this. All police do that. So there's that. So we'll leave those alone. Literature and arts. Is there any literature that you can think of that might show how stereotyping has a negative effect on people? Immediately, I think of To Kill a Mockingbird. That's my It's one of my favorite novels to teach, my favorite novel to read, and it speaks to that. Along those same lines, you could throw in Just Mercy, and I'm not going to italicize them here for time's sake, but you know that we would italicize all titles like this. Any other ones that you could think of? We could throw Gatsby in there because Gatsby he's stereotyped because he has money, so he's expected to act a certain way, where he really isn't this type of person. So those are just a few. You could obviously throw in a ton more here. Personal experience. I typically don't have much personal experience, so I'm gonna leave that one alone when it comes to stereotyping, because as a white male, I haven't experienced some of the stereotyping. Have I experienced some? Sure. But I haven't experienced some that other people, other ethnicities, women have experienced. So I'm going to leave that one alone. Science and technology, that one may or may not be one where we can pull something. Money, may or may not. Okay, environment. We could, possibly throw in like a Flint, Michigan type deal. I don't know how that would fit, but remember, we're brainstorming here, Michigan. So these are just a few pieces of evidence, not advice, but evidence that could help support our thesis, our stance, and then we would take this and organize it. Okay, so so good luck gathering your evidence to plug in to support that beautiful thesis that you wrote in Activity 2. Have fun pulling all of this stuff.